Am I audible? Can you see my screen? Very good evening. Yes, thank you for your wishes. Good evening. Good evening. Very good evening. Good evening all. Can we start with the class? So what all things we have seen in our previous class? What all things we have covered till now? Can I get some response? From which we have to continue? Yes, thank you. Thank you for your wishes on Teachers' Day. Yes, we have seen about starting from basics, data type in that, right? After that, we have seen about after data types, data structures, then fundamentals like conditional statement and looping statement in yesterday's class. And now we are going to continue with functions. Okay. So before moving into that, if you want to convert this masterclass into certified internship on machine learning, you can join as an internship user. So the link will be provided in chat and description. You can use it. Okay. So I'll explain you these details later. We can start with functions. So seeing about functions. Functions in Python are block of reusable code that performs specific task. Okay. So functions in Python are block of reusable code that performs specific task. So it is reusable code and a function runs only when it is called. This is important. A function will be running only when it is called, and they are defined using the def keyword, which is def. And if you create one function, you can call it or run it as many times you want, multiple times. So to create a function, we need to use this def keyword. And after this def, you have to give a name for it. And you have to create parenthesis here. I'll tell you what is the use of it. First, we will be leaving it empty. And inside of this line, this block of code is going to be the function block of code. Anything inside you have it will be the block of this function. Thank you. Thank you for all the wishes. I think we can go into the content, right? Shifting our focus. So it's time for us to create a function. I'll just go and create a function, which is, I'll connect it first. Thank you all. So we can go and create a function def. I'll give a name hello. I have to give parenthesis, and inside the block of code I'll print hello, and in the next line I'll print all. So everything I do here will be coming inside of this block of code. I'll run it. I'm not getting any output. Can you tell? Because we have created a function but we haven't called it yet, right? So you have to call by its name hello and open and close your bracket, which is parenthesis. So if you run it, you will be getting the results inside of this function. So we will be creating a function which will be stored somewhere. Okay, and how many times you want, you can repeat it by calling this. So that will execute the same commands for all the time. Clear about the idea or what is the use of a function? You can create and store it. It can be used for multiple times. How many times you want, you can receive it. Yes, previously we haven't called the function and now we are calling it by its name. So this is a base of a function, and not only this, you have additional options too. Like for example, informations can be passed inside a function as argument, which means that, so for example, when you are creating a function, you can give a variable which is this is called as a parameter. Okay, when you create a function, if you bring anything inside of your parenthesis, it is called as parameter, and the value for this parameter will be replaced here with the name. Okay, here. So hello plus that name will be printed in the output, which means when you have defined this, you have to give a value for it. This is called as argument. Okay, when you create a function, when you define it, it is called as a parameter, and actually when you receive the value, it is called as an argument. So if you pass Sam, your output will be hello Sam. If you pass Tom, the output will be hello Tom. If you pass David, the output will be hello David. Okay, so a reusable code which can be altered also. Here I'll just ask for name, and using formatted statement, okay, I'll just pass our name here. I'll remove this. Okay, this is a parameter and the value will be placed here. I'll run this, and now I am asking for one parameter, which means I have to pass one parameter here, which is going to be your name. It will suggest soon. Okay, so if you didn't pass and run like this, you will be getting error, which means that one argument is missing, which is name. The positional argument name is missing, so you want to pass a value here. It can be a number or an integer. Okay, I'll pass Tom, so my output now will be hello Tom. So if I want, I can get it for Jerry. The output will be hello Jerry. Clear? Clear? Not only this, you can get multiple informations. Okay, so you can ask for place, you can separate it with comma. F is for formatted statement. I'll suggest you to watch day 2 and 3. In string we have seen about what is F, what is the use of F. Okay, so I can give some statement like from. I'll pass the place here. I'll run this. So now I am asking for two parameter. I am asking for two parameters. So the argument should be 2 passed inside. If I try to run this, I'll be getting error. One is missing. Okay. I'll be telling about what is positional argument. Please wait. We have that slides from Delhi like that. If I run this, I'll be getting hello Tom from Delhi. Okay. So what is a parameter? When you define a function, you call it as a parameter and you pass value, that is called as an argument. And let us see about what is positional argument. Arjun, see here. See here, I am asking for name 1 comma name 2. Okay. And I am passing the places name 1 here and name 2 here. And when I call that function, I am passing Tom and Jerry. Can you tell me what is name 1 and what is name 2? Based on the position I have given, name 1 is mapping to Tom and name 2 is mapping to Jerry. Okay, based on the position, that is what called as positional argument. I can show you. Okay, name 1 comma name 2. So here I'll go with name 1 and name 2. So in my output sentence, hello first Tom I am giving, next Jerry I am giving. So in place of name 1 Tom will be placed, and in place of name 2 Jerry will be placed. This is called as positional argument. Based on the position, the value will be assigned. Arguments will be assigned. You also have something known as keyword argument. So instead of place, you can mention as or name 1 is equal to this or name 2 equal to Jerry, like A equal to Tom, B equal to Jerry, like that you can mention. Okay. So what I am going to do is name 2 equal to Tom and name 1. So if you ask for 1, then you have to give for both. Name 1 equal to Jerry. So if I run it, in place of name 1 Jerry will be placed, and in place of name 2 Tom will be placed. I hope it will be clear. F is for formatting, to pass information inside. I'll suggest you to watch day 2 and day 3. The videos available in YouTube, in our channel, or you can join as internship user too. Clear? Where are you going to add and operator here? So that's what the difference between a positional argument and a keyword argument is. And yeah, sometimes if you want a parameter and sometimes if the user may skip it, okay, For example, if they cannot add the value for this country, you can give a default value. When you create a function, you can assign, okay, country equal to India, which means if any other place is passed, that will be passed inside. If nothing is passed, you won't be getting error. This default value will be placed. See here, I'll create a basic function name, okay. I'll just remove these, and this is just hello name, and if I call hello and pass name inside Tom, the value will be Tom. For example, if the user is not giving informations inside, okay, then what you can do is you can give a default value which is going to be like user. So if any value is passed, that value will be placed there. If you don't pass anything, you won't be getting error. That default value will be passed. You can have it for multiple things also, user, okay. If you don't have this default value, then what will happen? You cannot pass this empty, you will be getting error, right? So to avoid such situations, you can have this default values too in places that will be passed inside. I hope it will be clear. And finally, return. So till now what we have done is we are printing the output from my function, so it is giving you in the output, okay. See here, print is a thing which just displays the output by the end, okay. It will just display you in the output. But if you are receiving any value from it, okay, for example a numerical value, you can just display it, but you cannot use it for any other further operation. So if you want to use it, then you can use this return. In many places, if you create a function, we'll returning it because we'll be using functions inside of some other places. So from a value from my function output will be used in some other place, so you can return it instead of printing it. For example, define max x comma y, okay. So if I print it, print x plus y here, I'll call max and pass 10 comma 10. So the output will be 20. This will be displayed, okay. I cannot store it in a new variable. Is it equal to this one, okay. So to do that, you can go and return this. Instead of doing this, you can just return x plus y, okay. So now if you just run it in z, if you pass it, you will be getting that value. Can you see it? Instead of just printing it, you can have that value in another variables too by calling this return, okay. So if you just return it, if you just call it in some other place, you won't be seeing the output. In Google Colab, you may see it in the last line. If you have another line, you won't be getting the output. See here, now you will be getting hello only. The value will not be printed because we are just returning it. You can print it from here like this. The value it is returned can be printed using print. If you want to store it and use it for further operations, you can return it. So that's all with a function. If it's fine, we can go to the lambda function. So once again, if you want to convert this masterclass into 1 month certified internship on machine learning, you can join as an internship user. The link is given in the chat box. You can use this coupon code of MLMC4 to get it in a discounted fee of $799. You will be getting all the records for 90 days access in our LMS, source codes of all the projects, downloadable PPTs, files, internship confirmation letter at the start, and internship certification by the end of your internship, certified internship, and additional 5 projects, additional in-depth contents, and 6 mentor live-in mastermind Zoom sessions. And in these Zoom sessions, we will be having doubt clarifications, weekly tasks and assignment, Kaggle competition analysis, and additional 5 projects. And we are going to have our first Zoom session by this Saturday. So when we go into our Saturday, today is day 5. I think by Saturday we can complete till day 8 will be completed. So we have seen some basics of data analytics. It will be a good time for us to interact and clarify doubts also. And after that we will be having weekly, every weekend we will be having Zoom sessions. Totally we will be having 6. Even the class ends, we will be having it. Fine. So continuing with the next one. So the projects used in our internship is these projects. I hope in 1 or 2 days after completing pandas in next class we can see this sales dataset analysis, then visualization, credit card fraud detection, carbon dioxide emission prediction, stock price prediction, fake news classification, movie rating prediction, etc. So continuing with the next step, lambda functions. So if you want to join as an internship user, the link is given in the chat box. Lambda functions. So lambda functions are like your function, but these are small, okay, and anonymous single expressions that are defined using the lambda keyword. Okay, so they are used for quick throwaway functions that are needed for a short period of time. If you want to perform, usually in our data set, if you want to perform some task for a single column, we will be calling lambda. Okay, we can do it simply. So to do that, you can use this, which is called as lambda. Okay, so you see here in X I am calling lambda, and this is the parameter a, and this is going to be the value it will be placed. So we are adding with 10. So you can call X, and inside parenthesis I am passing the argument which is 6. So my output will be 16. So you are getting it. So if you want multiple things, you can separate it with comma and perform that task and give the output. Okay, so to do that, we can go and call X equal to lambda. Okay, so I'm getting a, and I'll print a multiplied by 30. Okay, so print X of 2. So the output should be 60, right? So if you want, you can get 3 things, 2 or 4 things, multiple things can be obtained. It is 1 month internship. A multiplied by B multiplied by C. You will be getting error because you need to pass B and C. So we'll be getting the output like this. Fine. So that's all with lambda, quick throwaway functions. If it is fine, we can go and start with class and object. We'll see a glimpse of it. In-depth contents will be available in your internship. If you want, you can join as an internship user also. So I think we can complete class and object in today's class. So after that, by tomorrow, we'll be starting with machine learning introduction, content oriented steps introduction, and then proceeding with Pandas Library, data collection, and then Pandas Library. Okay. So can we start with class and object? Yeah, so going with class and object, Python, what they are telling is Python is an object oriented programming language. Object oriented programming is OOPS concept, and they are telling Python is built on object oriented programming, and almost everything you use in Python is object with its properties and methods. So if you understand what this is, previously when I taught you a few days back, when I teach you about the basics, for example, x equal to 4, okay, this is an integer, right? So I'll print the type of x, and what can you see here? Near integer, before that you can see a word. Can you see it? It is called as class. So from the previously, if you try to get the type of anything in Python, you will be getting a class name for it. We are just mapping the class name and using it, so which means that we are using this class and object without our knowledge. Okay, Python is built on object oriented programming. Okay, so what is this class and what is object? So a class is like an object constructor. Okay, so to create an object you need class or a blueprint. Okay, it is a blueprint for creating object, which means it will have the definitions. So but when you create it, you can create multiple things with one class. It's like a blueprint, and you can have multiple things and multiple features. You can pass variables inside and perform this. Fine. So to create a class, you can give class and then a name for it near to it. You don't particularly want to pass parentheses here. There are certain situations where you will be passing parentheses. I'll tell you later. For now, you don't want to do it. If you try it with a function, you will get error. In class, you don't want to pass. You can have the body of a class here. So I'll create a class 1 x equal to 1. Okay, I'll save it. That is fine. So now we have created a class, but it's like a blueprint. You cannot do anything with a blueprint. You need to create an object. Okay, so an object is like, you can have multiple object. It will take the class and it will build and it can be worked on with object. Okay, so this is like a blueprint, and every time, every object you are creating, it is called as one instance. Instance means you are using it at that time. So each instance, each object is each instance you are using that class. Okay, Kalaimagal, if you have registered for internship, then I hope you will be getting the LMS link. So when you go into the LMS, you will be having your videos, right? For I think I have updated till class and object till day 5. It is available already. 3 days back it is updated. If you go and scroll below that video, you can file downloadable files, a zip file where you will be having downloadable PPT and code files, etc. will be available there. Please check the LMS portal or contact our team. They will help you to download it. Okay, so to create an object, what you have to do is you have to go and create a variable, and using equal to, you have to assign the name of the class with parentheses. If you create like this, it will be converted into an object for this particular class. I'll go and do it. I'll create an object which can be of any name. Okay, so O1 equal to 1 parenthesis, this is an object. Okay, so now you can use this object to access something inside of that class, inside of that blueprint. O1 dot x, I'll print, okay, O1 dot x, and you can see the value which is 1. Okay, yeah, thank you for the wishes. You can create other object too, another instance O2 with the same class, you can use it. Okay, now using O2 also you can print it, you can get information. So that is what class and object. Class is like a blueprint, and you can create multiple instances using object. Internship will be online, and you can try to access things inside of it. Not only this, you can pass parameter and argument also. We'll see it. So now we are going to create a function inside of a class. So creation of a function inside a class is called as method. Usually it is called as methods, functions inside of a class. Okay, and see here, inside of this I am passing a parameter which is called as self, and I am not using it anywhere. I'll tell you what is the use of it later. Just see it. I'm going to create a class which is course. Okay, and define session. I'll pass self and print or return. This is class and object session. Okay, so I'll create an object now, O3 or any name, obj1 equal to name of my class which is course. Okay, I'll do this, and I'm calling obj1 dot session. Okay, so it is a function, so I have to pass parameter here, and I'm not going to pass anything inside in their place of self. I'll print it. I'm getting my output properly. If I try to have it without this, I have created a class now without that self. If I try to run it, can you see we are getting error? It takes 0 personal argument, but 1 was given. To avoid this, you have to pass the self inside. I'll tell you why self is. It has a lot of uses which is going to be very easy for you in future. If you have self, you won't be getting any error. So this self is nothing but your object instance you are creating, right? This instance will be directly passed here. Okay, if you pass it, you won't be getting error. That's how a class is built. If you create another one, object 2, you can have the course there also. Okay, so if you go with object 1 in the place of self, automatically object 1 when you call it, it will be passed inside the self. If you go with object 2, automatically in the place of self, object 2 will be passed. And we are going to use a constructor which is for instantiating everything. I'll tell you why. After this we are going to get some information like name and age from the user. Okay, you can get it from your object. When you create, you can get it. To pass it inside, you can use this initiator. In Python we call it as constructors. Okay, you will be calling like this double underscore and a name for it. You have a lot of constructors in Python. One of it is double underscore init double underscore. So whenever we are creating a class, if you want to pass information, a lot of arguments inside, you can go and call this init, and you have to pass the self inside the object. Okay, so this init method is a constructor which will help you to assign values to the self. I'll tell you why. See here, in this class person, okay, I am asking for name and age. Okay, I am just calling it in my init. Okay, I'll tell you the difference, please wait. I am just calling this init and I am asking for self. Along with that I am getting this variable name and age. This name and age will be passed when I create an object. So this object, what all the values you pass for each different object, that will be passed here. And what I am doing is I am calling this self. Okay, I am storing in self.name, I am storing this value of name, and in self.age I am storing the value of age, so that in the first place itself the name and age will be stored inside of self. So below that, if I have multiple functions, I don't want to pass the name and age separately. I can just pass the self. Here, see here, in all the three functions I am passing self, and I am calling self.name and self.age from that self, from that object. That will be passed from here, that will be assigned to this object, and that will be passed in all the places. So if you are creating some applications, then this self will help you to pass information easily without getting error. And this double underscore init, you don't want to call it, it will be automatically called when you run or call a class to run it. So it will instantiate and store the value, and rest of the things can work fine. That is the use of init and self. I hope you understood. We'll try to build something like this. Class person, define double underscore init double underscore, I'll pass self. Okay, along with that, no, only init is allowed, because I'll tell you, init is something like it will instantiate when you call a class from an object. Okay, so it will automatically run. So otherwise you have to run it and then go with other function. It is like it's a two work. You can automatically use this init, it will automatically run when you call it, it will assign the value, so that when you call some other function or a method inside your class, you can just get the values, right? So I'll get name comma age here, and I'm going to pass self.name, the value for name, and I'll assign self.age equal to age. You will be getting participation certificate. If you are not an internship user, don't worry about that. Please watch everyday videos and provide attendance. You will get participation certificate by the end. And then I can have other functions, like I'll go with 1. Okay, so I'll pass self alone inside. Okay, and I can return some results like formatted statement. Hello, I am the self.name. Using self I can pass directly, and I am self.age years old, and I'll create another one which is 2. I'll pass self, return formatted statement. This is self.name comma self.age years old. Okay, you can have a 3 also, any other sentence. I'm not getting anything in my mind, so we can return something like my name is self.name I am self dot age years old. Okay, so I'll save this. Any mistake I have done? This one. Fine. So now see here. So I have created a function init 1, 2 and 3. I don't want to call this init. I'll show you. Automatically it will call and assign the values to the self. So if I call 1, 2 or 3, it will return that value from that self. I'll create an object which is ob1. Okay, I'll call person. So I need to pass informations like name and age. See here it is asking for name. I'll pass Tom 12. Okay, so I'll enter it. So now if I call ob1 dot, I can get 3 options, which is 1, 2 and 3. So I'll go with 1. I'll print this. See here I'm not calling init. So when I run this, automatically init will be called and that value will be assigned to the self, which is object, which is the instance, and that will be passed in 1, 2 and 3. So if I call 1, I can get my output smoothly. I am Tom and I am 12 years old. You can go and call 2 also. Okay, I am not a multilingual person. I cannot speak and teach in all the languages. English is common. We'll go with English. Sorry for if I am not going with any native languages. Okay, so I create another object. So this will be assigned in that place. Now in this instance, Jerry 7, and I'll print ob2.3. You can assign the values and get the results. See it? So that's what the use of this init. It will be automatically called and it can be used to assign values. Please use it wisely. You can use it for doing lot of things. I'll give you a task in the end. So if you are interested, please try to do it. I think in our internship Zoom session, I can discuss the answer for that. Okay. So we have completed this, and let us see about the types of variables inside a class. There are 2 types, instance variable and class variable. If it is an instance variable, okay, what is an instance? Instance is object, which means anything belong to self will belong to the object. Okay, anything belongs to the class will belongs to class variable. So first let us see about instance variable. I'll tell you with the example. So instead of getting things like as a parameter, I can even store things inside, right? So class car, define. Okay, since I am not getting any variables, see here, using double underscore init, double underscore, I'll just call self and it is going to assign the value self dot mileage. I'll set a value as 20 or 40. And self dot brand equal to BMW. Okay, this will be fine, I think so. Okay, company or brand, anything is fine. Okay, so I'll create an object C1 equal to car, C1 dot mileage. So if I get it, okay, it is a method, right? So it is 40, and C1 dot brand will be BMW. Okay, so like that I can create C2. Okay, this is also going to use the same, but it belongs to self, right? So if you go with C2 dot brand, it will give you BMW, right? So here what I'm going to do is I'm going to assign a new value. Okay, so I'm going to call C2 dot brand equal to Benz. Okay, now since it belongs to the instance, which means it is belonging to the C2 only the value of C2 will be changed. See here, if I go and call C2 dot brand now, the value will be Benz because it is belonging to C2 only. If I call C1 dot brand, it will still remain the same as BMW because C1 is different instance and C2 is different instance, and these belongs to self, so it will belong and change for that only. Like that, you can have a class variable which is away from this any self. You can store it here. This will be common for both. So if you alter it, it will be reflected for both. So we can have like wheel equal to 4. Okay, so I'll call car dot wheels, or see here c1 dot. If you go and get the wheels, you will be getting, okay, so it cannot access from here. Sorry, I have to rerun this. Now if I go and get the wheels, I'll be getting the value. You can get it from C2 also like this. So now I'm going to assign using car dot wheels equal to, for example, if that car is having 8, so now it will be changed to both. Okay, if you go and call C2 also, C2 dot wheels will also be now will become 8. So that is what a class variable and instance variable is. Moving to the types of methods, you have 3 types. One is instance method. If it belongs to the self, which we used till now, self, if you pass it inside, that will be instance method. And you also have class method and static method. I'll tell you how to create a class method. To do that, we'll be using a decorator. See here, if you don't pass self, what will happen? You will be getting error, right? So you can call at, which is a decorator, and you can pass class method. So this is a decorator to create. Okay, so you have to give it before your function, and instead of passing self, you can pass CLS. So that is a class. I'll show you. Okay, instead of this, I can pass CLS. I have to go with at class method. Okay, like this you have to give, and you can go with return CLS dot. You can access your wheels from here. Okay, this belongs to the class, so you can get the class variables from that. So now I'll run this, and if I want, I can get c1 dot w. So that will return the value 4 from that. Okay, clear? So this is how you'll create a class method. And you can also have a static method, which means a method which doesn't belong to self or a class. But you cannot leave this empty, right? You have to pass anything. To avoid that, you can use at static method. This decorator in Python, this will help you to create a static method which is common for all. I'll go with at static method, define info. I'll leave it empty in the parameter and return this is information. And I can just go and call info. Without that, I cannot use that, right? See here, I am not getting any error. If I just remove this, I'll be getting error because it doesn't belong to self or anything. You have to rerun this. Now you will be getting error. Okay, so you need to have this and update once again the object, and you will be getting the output here. So that's all with the types of method. And finally, we are going to see about inheritance. With that, we'll be wind up our session. Remember, at the start of this class and object, I have told you, you don't want to have mandatorily a parenthesis, but you can have optionally. Okay, I'll tell you a scenario. Please watch with me here. Class A. Okay, so this class A, I'm not going to have anything which is having define 1. I'll go with return 1. Okay, in a function you need to have parenthesis. Okay, we'll go with self. That will be fine, right? Yeah, we'll go with that 1, and then define 2. That will also have self and return 2. So this is a class. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to create another class which is class B. So which will have 3, and I'll pass self inside. It will return 3, and another class which is 4, which is self inside, and that will return 4. Okay, so if I want to access anything from this class 1, I have to create an object with A, right? And then I can access 1 and 2. If I want to access this 3 and 4, I have to access create an object for class B and use it, right? So what I can do is I can inherit one class from other. I can connect two classes like inheritance. Inheritance is something like where will you use? So like from parents, after parents their wealth, they can come to their children's, right? Like that, you can create a parenthesis and call another class here. So that will be now B class is inheriting the A class. You cannot access A from B now, but you can access, you cannot access B from A now, but you can access A class from this B. So what I'm going to do is I'll run this and I'll create an object, okay? Obj equal to, I'll call and create an object for B only, but with obj of class B, can you see I can get 1, 2, 3 and 4. I'll get 1. How am I getting from B class? Because I'm inheriting this is called as inheritance. You can connect two classes and inherit this, okay? But you cannot access from class A. If you want to access from class A, you have to pass B here, then only they will be interconnected. Fine. So that's all with class and object. I'll give you an idea for project or a simple task for you to be like good with the class and object. I'll tell you the rules. A task which we will be discussing on the Zoom internship. So if you join us internship user, I can give you explanations. So if you are not, you can find other stuffs too online also. You can try this. So task is to create a ATM simulator, okay, using class and object. So the rules will be have a username, password, okay. If it is correct, then you can allow, okay. So then you can follow these steps. For example, like have a balance, okay. Initially it should options when you enter inside will be check balance, withdrawal, deposit, quit, okay. So these are all the options. Have a balance, okay. So what you can do is you can use this, for example, print this, for example, select one. Previously I have given you a link, right? Remember our community, LinkedIn community. I can share you that link also. You can post your output screenshots there. I'll tell you, you can print something like this, like 1 balance, 2 withdrawal, 3 deposit, 4 quit. You can use a while loop also, and then what you can do is every time command equal to integer or input, this is a string, right? Input choose, okay. So the user will be entering 1, 2, 3 or 4. So below that you can use a conditional statement. If command is equal to 1, then what you will do, you will be passing the balance inquiry. You will be having a variable which is balance, and you can pass the values there so that user can print and see that result. Like that you can proceed with that. So it should have all these details. So the answer I will be giving or explaining it in the internship on Saturday. You can join us internship user too. The link is pinned in the chat box. So that's it. Thank you. Thanks for watching. You can also join us internship user. You'll be getting all the supports from our side. You can use and get it in a discounted fee of 799 using this coupon code MLMC4. Thank you. We'll see you in tomorrow's class. Tomorrow is important day. We'll be shifting our gears to the next step. So please watch tomorrow's session. Thank you.